Hi, my name is Arut and I'm a licensed general contractor in Los Angeles. Couple of even tiny overlooked mistakes can burn down your house. Even well-known companies in Los Angeles sometimes don't understand exactly what they're doing when they're dealing with the fireplace. And doesn't matter if it's a house for $2 million or $20 million house in Beverly Hills. And especially for the client, it's difficult to realize that something is wrong when they're looking at the beautiful marble around the fireplace and everything looks so nice and pretty. But let's start with what the fireplace actually is. So let's look at the most important parts of the fireplace. We have our firebox, which is just this section, basically the inside of the fireplace. We have hearth, which is the flooring, let's say for the floor section of the fireplace. It breaks actually into two parts. One is the inner part and the other one is basically inside the room. We have our smoke shelf, smoke chamber, and a damper. Actually, the damper in Los Angeles has to be, in California, has to be always open. You cannot close it. You can buy a damper clamp on Amazon for $10 and install it yourself, but usually we recommend to hire a professional licensed contractors to do any repairs in the fireplaces. So this is our damper and this is our smoke chamber and the mantle. Mantle basically is the section around the facade of the fireplace, the material that you see around the fireplace. And all these parts actually have very strict requirements on the sizes, on the materials that you can use. For example, for the mantle, you cannot use any combustible material. It can't be wood or any other material because it's a fire hazard. And actually on one of our clients' houses lately, we find out that the beautiful mantle around the fireplace was completely built out of wood. It was just insane. And actually with a lot of gaps around it. All sections of the fireplace are very strictly ruled and they have specific codes that you have to follow. Depends on the size of the fireplace and type of it. For example, you'll figure out what's the exact size of the hearth that has to be placed at front of the fireplace, how many inches it has to extend at the front of it and on the sides of it. If the opening of the fireplace is smaller than 6 square feet, it has to extend 8 inches on the side and 16 inches minimum at the front. And if it's more than 6 square feet, it has to extend at least 12 inches on the side and 20 inches at the front of the fireplace. Another thing, don't just assume having a cap on the chimney and having a nice chimney that everything is okay in that area of the fireplace, because not all caps are legal and you have to make sure you're using the right cap for your fireplace. That's why we always recommend to hire a professional licensed company that deals with the fireplaces and require the full inspection of your fireplace. Here are several reports that we've done for our clients. Our first step would be to identify what type of the fireplace do you have. Is it a prefab? Is it completely made out of brick? And so on. Because in some prefab fireplaces, the front has vent grills that you cannot cover. And we've seen in several instances that contractors with homeowners, they decided to cover it because of the aesthetics, because they don't want to see those grills at the front of the fireplace, but still it's a hazard. You cannot do that. You have to leave the vents open. And actually that client had 3 fireplaces in the house and all 3 of them were different type of fireplaces. Next, we do a visual inspection. We want to make sure that the sizes are right, the materials are used right, that there are no cracks or openings that we can see actually without using a camera, because everything has to be sealed from the firebox to the chamber all the way to the top. You cannot have any cracks, gaps, openings. And we're inspecting the materials also. As I said, one of our clients had a beautiful mantle made completely out of wood. So everything around the fireplace for 12 inches has to be of non-combustible materials. Another item we're keeping an eye on when doing visual inspection is the gas valve. In most of the cases, you'll see a gas valve actually inside the firebox, which is a hazard and very difficult to operate. Because let's say if something happened and you want to shut off the gas line, you'll have to go inside while the fireplace is burning to turn it off. So we recommend to move it somewhere within 6 feet of the fireplace with the proper and easy access without using any specific tool to turn off the line. Small tip, always keep an eye on the pipe, on the gas pipe if it comes from the floor. In probably 90% of fireplaces that we've dealt with, the pipe is actually rusted, and no one will guarantee you for how long it will serve you. No one will tell you if it's gonna serve you for 10 years or if it's gonna get busted for like 6 months. So be careful with that. And the most important is to run the camera. Always when you do an inspection for the fireplace, run the camera all the way to the top. You wanna see the daylight with that camera. Running the camera gonna make sure that everything inside the fireplace is sealed in a proper condition. You don't have any construction trash left over there. You wouldn't be surprised to find a piece of plywood that we did actually on one of our last projects. We ran a camera and saw pieces of plywood just left in the chamber. And probably the most hurting part is pricing. Depending on the area where the problem is located, it's gonna affect the price a lot. For example, if it's just the several cracks and gaps inside the firebox, the repair is not gonna cost that much. But if you have some issues in the chamber on the top level and some issues with the chimney, that's gonna affect the price a lot, because for that you'll probably have to use scaffoldings and some extra help. So always when you get a report from your fireplace company, make sure to ask them and check what is included in the price. Are all the trades included, or you'll have to hire like a third company for scaffolding, or you'll have to hire a plumber to move your valve from the firebox somewhere to the wall. If you want to better understand any renovation project and be well prepared to finish your project on time and within the budget, check out my first video on the channel. Thank you and see you later.